Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Andertons TV, and today I'm going to be tripping with Jeorge Tripps. How many times have you been introduced tripping with Jeorge Tripps?
That's
tripping
probably
with
the
Tripps.
first.
Really?
It's probably the first.
Well,
You can trademark that.
I will. George, if you're not familiar, is a pedal maker to the stars, inventor of the Way Huge Thang, and long-time designer for MXR Dunlop, Way Huge, many other brands as well, but that's your main gig, isn't it?
That's my main gig. MXR, Way Huge.
Absolutely. So anyway, we got a half a dozen new pedals, all of which are either completely new or fairly new, and you're in the UK, so
Where should we start?
Absolutely.
Where should we start? So yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff. I believe, what came out at NAMM? That's at NAMM. That's right at around NAMM. Carbon Copy's new.
A bit more recent.
Yeah, it just came out. Same with the Billy Gibbons Octavia. The Double Double's been around. We're showing that, and the Conspiracy Theory is new as well.
So just for no other reason than right to left will confuse people, let's start. So Super Lead, is that as we would think? Just
it's a really
Marshall
cool
Super Lead
name.
kind of?
It's not supposed to be a Marshall in a box, but it's, you know, overdrive in a box. So we can... and it does a nice cleanup.
I'll take the... Is the idea of that squishiness that's in there, are you trying to just emulate just a maxed out?
Yeah, it's supposed to give you that tube ampy kind of squishy kind of gain. It gets really hard to explain distortion, but sometimes people like to use pixels.
Right.
I've talked to a number of people, and it's got really big grain, if you will.
So like a pixelated...
Yeah, like a pixelated photograph.
Yeah,
so if you think of distortion that way, then, you know, if it's bigger pixels, it's bigger chunks.
What's our, so our clean tone, we're using the Laney, I can't remember what it's called now, BL30? Whatever, the big Laney in the background is what we're using. And I've turned it up a little bit just to give a bit of hair. And we're running it through the Boss tube amp expander so that it's not stupid loud. So yeah, let's just dive in and have a little, you know, you do it and...
Still waking up.
Absolutely, yeah. George is on LA time, so we'll forgive him. What happens if you just gun it a little bit more, a little bit less? I mean,
what I like to do actually, it's tube amps, so I actually like to hammer the amp. And then if we go opposite, it's got a lot of output, so you gotta definitely. You want to try with the Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. Put it back on the first tone you had, because I'm...
At the beginning or with the lots of output?
No, I think at the beginning.
Okay. Somewhere around here, I can't remember.
It's a bit spitty, isn't it? Like a spitty fuzz.
In between that distortion, overdrive, and fuzz. It sort of lives in all the different worlds.
Just try backing it off and... It's a nice clean, you know. It really, I don't know if it's this guitar or a mix of the two.
It's going to vary with the different pots.
Yeah, from like 9 to 10 is where all
just
the
jumps
action.
in, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I like it. I like it.
It's not
It is a
super
crossover
smooth,
fuzz distortion, isn't it?
Yes.
It's vintage fuzzy gainy in a box.
Yeah.
I like
so
it.
the more gain you get out of the box, the fuzzier it'll start to get. The more output, lower gain, more drive you start getting
Yeah.
from the amp. It sort of lives in all those different worlds.
Yeah. It's a cool
And
looking
with the
pedal as
volume,
well.
you use it like an amp.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the conspiracy theory, which is a professional overdrive. You've got your output. You still on? You go first. I'll dial something in.
Okay. So do it. The conspiracy theory obviously is a just purely and simply it's a joke in the sense of not a joke pedal. It's a joke at the fact at how many copies there are of this pedal that are sort of people are trying to pretend that it's anyway.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I guess I've always loved those kind of drive pedals that really push a kind of a mid-range frequency,
Right.
just to it just
It's handy.
helps if you're trying to get your guitar to do that Nigel Tufnell kind of thing. It just helps to have some extra balls across that. Play it through the Strat.
So definitely more with the Paul.
Are you a fan of that kind of pedal, either stacked into another drive pedal or always into a sort of a driven amp, or even
All
you
depends.
you see these guys being used with Fenders and
Yeah, it all depends on the player, the guitar, the amp. I think my philosophy is just try what works. Just try things, and then something will work. Because usually when you start to talk to artists and stuff, and you really find out how their rig is set up, it kind of is mind-blowing. You're like, but that's not how it's supposed to be. The good example is the Eric Johnson tube driver. It's below unity gain. When he turns it on, his volume goes down.
right.
And it's, most people just go, what? But it works.
Yeah. Well, I've got a conspiracy theory type pedal on my board, and it's the last drive in the,
So you use it as a boost.
I use it just predominantly as a boost. Although, again, I have used it into the other drives, and it works great like that too. We might come back to having this maybe into this one as well, just to see how it stacks.
See what happens.
But, all right, cool. So what is next
So the
then?
double is basically, it's two different overdrives. It's got a high gain and a low gain. A low gain is giving you that, TS mid bump kind of thing, and the high gain is more of a higher gain boutique overdrive.
So, like a
So that's the low gain,
Yeah.
and the high gain will turn the gain up. Try with the pawl.
I like it. That's a
So
cool.
we'll
Yeah.
look.
So tube screamer east side or the low side.
We'll start with that. So lots of mids there.
Yeah, I like that.
So we'll switch to the high gain.
That's also got a little spitty to it as well,
A little
hasn't
bit,
it?
yeah. As you get the gain up, you'll definitely hear more of that. And the low gain. Hear a big mid shift when you switch.
That's cool as well. I mean, I think the low and the high thing, if you hadn't read the manual or watched this demo, you'd just assume it's the same pedal with like a high
Right,
gain and a
yeah,
low
no,
gain
it's
mode.
totally different.
But it is
circuit.
two totally different circuits. That's handy. I
Yeah,
like it.
so I mean, if you need, you can just have two or just, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. All right. So can we just... What
You
would
want
I
to stack
normally
them?
do? Well, let's put this on the high mode, but maybe with not loads of gain, and then use the conspiracy theory into it, just as a sort of a... So if one was more of a rhythm tone.
Try the low gain and see what happens.
What is this one? Is this drive?
That's drive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to... Yeah, I mean, I think that's a classic combination. Any kind of mid-bumpy kind of drive pedal into a more conventional drive pedal. It's just a great way of having, you know, your rhythm and your lead sound on a pedal board.
Is great. I'm into it.
That was very cool. Anyway, I think, did you have a blast on this one yet or not?
I did.
You did?
Right?
Well, can you tell it's early? Should we move on then to the Purple Platypus?
So this is a reissue of the Purple Platypus. I added a high cut, which the original didn't have, and it was my take on an Octavia.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a red llama into a frequency doubler. So you get the...
Are you really, like, as a guitar player rather than as a pedal designer, is it the unpredictable pedals that flick your switch the most? Like, is that the...
No, I mean, I love Octavia stuff just from the days of going to see Mike Landau at the Baked Potato,
Yeah.
and just, I learned how to use one, so you can get the sitar sounds. Or...
But don't you find with a pedal like this, almost just the wind needs to be blowing in a different direction and it'll, you know, let alone...
Well, usually because people will start doing these kinds of things where they turn it up and you're getting that. and they just start to get really kind of like out of control with too much gain and whatnot. I don't find octaves to be too out there. I've
really
just gotten used to them.
Because I struggle. I've never managed to get a fuzz pedal to sit on my board because I'll try it in a demo, and whatever the day of the week is and the amp and the guitar, and you go, oh yeah, I really like this one, like that.
Right.
And then I'll put it on the board or whatever, and I'll
if
struggle to ever kind of recreate that. Whereas more conventional drive pedals,
Right.
I think, they'll cross from one amp and guitar to the next and do a
I
thing.
understand. I think a lot of people are like that. I mean, fuzzes are usually unpredictable, and octaves are unusual, and you have to know how to bring out those sounds and want those sounds.
Yeah.
I want all those. It's fun to me, but
It's
but
great.
I've sat with them a long time. Usually, I have to show people, the tricks are not using a pick.
Okay.
So you kind of, and you just kind of brush the strings. That's what makes the octave pop out more. Like if you'll see like the lighter you play.
Why is that then? Is it a bias thing or
That
something?
I couldn't explain to you. I've watched Mike play it. I've experimented a lot. Because when you go to do the sitar, you want to hit it hard. You play with a pick right at the bridge. You get that sound, or you go. And the lower the gain, the more octave you tend to get.
It's very difficult, isn't it, on these kind of pedals? There'll be certain guitar players listening to this going, "That's wicked," and there'll be other ones going, "Is that broken?"
Right. No. It does. It definitely
like,
sounds broken, and it's a broken sound. But growing up on Hendrix and all that, that's.
Let's have a little. See if I can find a vibe that I kind of like. I'm not a very good brusher, I must admit. I think I'm like.
But you can hear how it pulls these octaves out in harmonics.
It's definitely a pedal that, I'm not don't have any kind of songwriting credits to my name or anything like that, but the one thing that happens to me when I play through a pedal like that is I revert typically to more of a riff. I'll start playing riffs and I'll start playing things that I perhaps wouldn't typically play. And I do like, on this type of pedal, fuzz and fuzz octave pedals, how it has a sense of drawing something out of the player that's maybe going to be a bit different to what you're going to play if you just put a traditional drive pedal on.
Yeah, it's kind of an instrument in itself.
Yeah. So they're good fun. That's good fun. And then, of course...
And wait, there's another.
There's another. Oh, you mean as in, yeah, I was going to say...
We play them together.
So we could do. So tell us how the Billy Gibbons thing
So
came about.
he'd been using the cheese wedge Octavio with the 7-band EQ, and he wanted his own custom version, and to make it simple and easy and straightforward to make Billy happy, it was just easiest to put the full 7-band EQ, although he was just rolling off some highs with it. But you can do a lot of other kind of crazy sounds with it. With the graphic EQ, you can just, you know...
The original cheese wedge, if people aren't familiar, is that going back to the... Is that an old, just a passive octave effect, or is it...
No, it's a fuzz.
It's a fuzz.
Yeah.
Right,
we went up to the Experience Museum and took apart the one up there and measured everything and made a clone of it. Okay,
and this is literally, so with a graphic EQ built into it, 7-band graphic built into it. Now, I know that Rob and I know we did a video of this a few months back where we had, we tried to go for his Lagrange kind of vibe. But you were saying before, you're not sure that necessarily this is necessarily like old school.
I have no idea what he uses it for. It's in his rig. He uses it on something. And, you know, wanted his own little version of it.
But yeah, this isn't sort of like Smart Dressed Man type.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he used octaves back then.
Yeah. So let's put you back on. And let's see. Very different sounding to the Purple.
Yeah, it's a different
much darker,
circuit.
More bass end.
Oops.
I mean, it's a wicked looking pedal.
It's awesome looking.
What's it? Let me have a fiddle. Or you fiddle with the EQ whilst I kind of play and see what's it. Because I guess, as you say, the Billy Gibbons won't be everybody's kind of taste.
Yeah, this is basically how he sets it.
It's got
the little smile curve.
The smiley face.
Exactly.
Would you use that with other pedals as well, or do you think?
Yeah, actually, what I tend to do is, I think with this, play for a second. I can't. Mild one, and then you can kick it in for more. You could double up your octave. They're fun.
Half of me wants to just hear that with the amp absolutely gunned.
Oh yeah, octaves are awesome when you're blazing loud.
You definitely want to sort of smash that one, don't you? I like it. I kind of quite like just turn everything on and just... That's cool, man. And then the last one, I suppose, it's probably the best known of all the pedals on the board, but just in a baby version. So
I like that, a baby version.
Is this the biggest selling MXR pedal of all time, the carbon copy?
Phase 90 price still
Probably
is.
the Phase 90 still.
Yeah, that's
Been
around a long time.
That has been around a long
72.
time. But so if people are familiar with the bigger carbon copy, is the reason for this purely and simply to free up real estate on the board, or does this do something the bigger
one doesn't
one doesn't do?
one extra feature on the side, which it's turned into, which is bright mode. So it has carbon. So it's got the bright or the regular version. It's set to bright.
Oh, cool, man. Because I had a carbon copy on my board for ages, and then I ditched it because I wanted something with tap tempo. This is before the carbon copy deluxe came out, which does have tap tempo. But I always felt that the regular dark green carbon copy did take some treble off.
It was very dark.
But in a way I liked.
Yes.
So I kind of didn't really... so let's just pop this back
probably need a little tiny, might need the tip of a pick to switch it.
Here, I've just put it back to its regular mode, so let's have a little listen. Modulation on the delay, which I always liked. Whilst you're playing, I'll pop it back over. So that's cool. So carbon copy is essentially two versions of the carbon copy and one in a way smaller. I mean, it's always begged the question for me with this idea of small pedals versus big pedals. If you can do exactly the same circuit design as there is in a big pedal, what's the point of the big pedal?
People don't like small pedals. Some people like them, some people don't.
Do you think it's just...
I mean, it was tough. It was tough to get it all in there.
Right, okay.
That was, before we even did it, it was like, can we even do this? Because it has to stay analog, and there's a lot of, there's 3 bucket brigades in there.
Right.
So you got to fit them all, and those aren't tiny.
But as far as, if you put the two side by side, are they identical, or is that, so there's no sense that you're sort of buying like a mini sounding version of the carbon copy?
No.
That's cool.
It sounds the same.
Well, look, let's finish up by just kind of getting some sort of crazy sound with as many of these pedals on as possible. I quite liked what we were doing before with this. It's actually not that much noise.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's the octaves.
Oh, because it just cuts it out.
They work like a gate.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So you turn that off.
Yeah.
We would turn that one off. Not too bad, actually.
It's still pretty crazy. I didn't realize that.
There we go. Now we'll kick in some noise.
That's cool, man. Look.
Oh, we got. These two will probably work.
You love all your haunting fuzz tones, don't you? So anything else
Haunting
from you guys
octaves.
to expect maybe later this year for, just to keep people in anticipation?
There's a pedal that's out now, the Ryzen Drive, which we don't have here right now for some reason. I blame someone else.
Blame someone else, absolutely.
Which is another co-design with Shin Suzuki, who does the Dumbloid pedal.
What was the one of those? Was it the Shinzi Drive?
That was Shinjuku Drive, which is his.
That was popular, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cool.
Is that again?
It's a take on his Dumbloid.
Right. Okay. Was that anything? Because you did another sort of Japanese-sounding name.
There was the Wayhuge Drive, which was a Geisha Drive.
That's it.
But that was
nothing to do with that. So this
that was completely separate.
That's me just lumping all Japanese guitar tones into one there. So nothing to do with that. Okay, cool. So we'll do that as a separate video, I'm sure, at some point or other. But just what kind of guitar tone is the guitar player going to get out of that
Ryzen Drive?
Ryzen Drive.
It's an overdrive, so it kind of depends on your guitar and your amp. It's cool. It's his design. It's really hard to...
High gain, low gain, bit of both?
Medium
gain.
Well, it's similar where it's got a switch. It's got a high and low gain.
No, fair enough. All right.
Well, remember this. It's not in front of me, and there's so many pedals that go through my brain.
No, I'm trying to think of that. Is there some sort of deep and meaningful, what's the point of all these drive pedals kind of question that I can kind of... Because I quite like your sort of, I think you're quite...
Overrated?
Yeah. No, I always enjoy it because I think there's a certain sense in you that you sort of get that sometimes the pedal market is just so oversaturated with product just because people will buy insane numbers of pedals rather than because the world needs more pedals.
The world needs more pedals, always. But drives are it's an easy tone change, is why. And most people are on this quest, always trying to find either something that's better because it's not, or some sound that's in their head, or just, crazed by gear. So that is the reason for drives from anybody. It's just, it's an easy way to change your tone. Other stuff that are more drastic, then it's probably not as.
And are you, from a design perspective, does it sort of, when was are you happier when you're just working with a blank canvas, rather than, maybe some downward pressure from the sales team going, we need a Klon as well, and you're just going, okay.
It's all kind of fun. It just sort of depends. I mean, doing the conspiracy was a lot of fun because, coming up with the name and all that, that aspect. It just sort of depends. They all sort of, most of the stuff is been worked on long before it ever is seen by the public. It's just takes a long time to get out. I mean, there's loads of stuff either I've prototyped or written up or done design work on, and they're just sitting there and either forgotten or like, oh, we have to wait for that. There's too soon, too close to something else, or what have you. So it's a pretty fun gig.
And in your little design studio, who have you had famous through the doors? Because you work out of a place
in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's near a big rehearsal studio.
Yes, lots of people come by. It just sort of depends.
Please, can you fix my wah-wah, Mr. Tripps?
I don't do that, and that's what I tell people. Like, I don't repair stuff. I'll break it for you, but I won't repair it unless it's a vintage Wayhuge. I repair that stuff.
So, and any artist that you're, I know without giving anything away necessarily, but that maybe you're working with at the moment to do something with.
Is there? Oh my God, maybe. I always seem to be scheming stuff with Bonamassa. Yes. He's always by. He rehearses there, so he's always by, but. I don't know who's been by lately. I forget.
So we just watch this space maybe for another Joe Bonamassa pedal?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, you're very cagey.
And on that, I have, so last time I gave you a fine gift of a
Russian...
a double black Russian pickle. So in that, I figured I would give you another double black because it's black like your cold black heart.
My cold black heart. What's going on the board here then?
So... It's a double black saucy
box. Oh, you naughty
which you
man.
like, and there's more in the box. So if you dig, there's. This is that's a fine Wayhuge shot glass, and with it is some fine Wayhuge blended American whiskey.
Oh, there you are, a man after my own heart. That's cool.
I blend it as I bathed.
Yeah, as you bathe. This is dirty George water. So seriously, what's the?
It's rye. It's a blend of rye. I have fun. That's my hobby.
Seriously?
This is my job. That's a hobby.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that more off camera because, you know...
And I know you like overdrives. And
I do like overdrives.
It's black. You've got a collection.
I will. This is great, man. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you very much for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
Anyway, look, links to all these new pedals are in the description below. Pricing is all on the Andertons website as well. Or go to your local MXR dealer and Way Huge dealer if you don't want to shop with Andertons, although what kind of person are you that doesn't want to do that? Anyway, I've been the captain. This is George, and we'll see you next time.
I was hoping for something much better, but...